Hello, good evening. This is the no show for Saturday, the 5th of October 2024. It's another episode in the dark. I'm feeling fine, but I just felt like doing the show in the dark again, which I did for the first time 2 nights ago when I was still spending most of the day horizontal due to the plague 19 that had hit me. Um, most of those symptoms are all gone, and my energy was mostly back to normal, maybe a little bit low. But again, I was planning. Hey, Dave in LA, nice to see you. How you doing? Most of the mostly I'm doing fine. And hello, everybody. Thank you. I'm sorry that I'm an hour late. The same thing happened that a few days ago. Hey, sitting in the dark, blue lady. Join me if anyone else wants to turn off the lights and enjoy this episode of the No Show in the Dark. Uh, maybe it's the No Lights show. I don't know. So Gornamance is next to me. Gornamance is a very black dog with some brown highlights when the sun hits him right. So you wouldn't be able to see Gornamance. And I'm wearing a white T-shirt, but I intentionally put on a black jacket to reduce the chances of any visual distractions. Um, I turned the camera horizontal like I always do, just out of force of habit. I'm sitting outside on the porch. Basically, I had a nice swim in the sun. I took a little guff. I just want to say this. Took a little heat, a little beef, a little spice, a little wind and sun from some audience who were upset that I had gone swimming, even though I had COVID, although getting over it and mild, to be sure. I don't think I've ever used the phrase to be sure before, but I think I just did. Well, I know I used it. The question is, did I use it correctly? I think I did. Anyway, I wanted to reassure anyone who was upset about that I didn't go swimming indoors. I wouldn't put anyone else at risk of infection or transmission, assuming that I'm still contagious. Um, 6 days since catching the thing. Um, I was swimming in the bay several hundred feet from any other humans, and with no risk. And anyone who I spoke to out there, I made it very clear what was going on, and we kept our distance. And I stayed downwind of them. I also explained to them that I'm vegan and I consume a hummus centric diet. It's mostly all dal and hummus. Dal and hummus, hummus and dal. So it's always a good idea for me to stand downwind of you, um, regardless of how I test. In any case, so I would not risk that. So if anyone was upset thinking that I was playing with anyone else's health, I don't do that. And when I have gone into stores, it's just yesterday and today, very briefly wearing a good old N95 mask. So I wanted to make sure that people understand that. I haven't become an anti-science guy or an anti-vaxxer or an anti-anything, except antibody. As I explained yesterday, I'm the antibody. I'm I'm the candidate of the antibodies. I'm an ally of the antibodies. The antibodies are my friends. Some of my best friends are antibodies. So please just know that about me. I take science seriously, except in middle school when I didn't take science seriously because I just couldn't stand earth science. I think my problem with earth science was the name. It's just it's a silly name. Everything is earth. You could have called it earth history and earth math and earth literature, earth science, earth gym, earth lunch, earth school. Everything was earth. You could put the earth prefix in front of anything and it would be accurate. So don't call that class earth science. For Christ's sake. Okay. I'm sure there would have been better. You could have called it Introduction to Astronomy and Geology. How about that? That would have been good. Hello, Dave in LA. I know we said hi. I felt like saying hi again. Thank you for being a loyal member of the audience and a friend, and Blue Lady as well. And anyone else who's watching, thank you for tuning in. I'm especially moved by you being here when I'm an hour late. So I'm glad some people get an alert on their phone or whatever device. um, what did Groucho Marx say about something about outside of a dog? Outside of a dog. Maybe I'm misremembering, but was it something like, there's no better, outside of a dog, something like there's no better companion, and inside of a dog, it's very dark. Is it something like that? Anyway, I should know. I wish I could quotes better. I wish I was better at remembering verbatim quotations. Maybe someday. Maybe someday I'll stop wishing that I were better at things that I'm not better at. That's, after all, the key to contentment, happiness, fulfillment, satisfaction, equanimity, being satisfied with things as they are. On the other hand, being satisfied with things as they are can leave one not trying to make things better, and maybe things should be better. I'm going to take a sip of water. I thought you might be able to see that, but no. Today there was a sound over the house that sounded like the Royal Air Force crossing the Channel, heading uh, to visit mayhem and destruction on some sleepy village along the Rhine. There was just a tremendous buzzing and humming from the sky. I still don't know what it was. Maybe it was actually a little armada of vintage planes. I don't know. It really had that sound. I see the audience has shrunk by half, or half and half again. Maybe the visual element is a draw. Maybe the music is a draw. Maybe the hour is a little late. In any case, can't do this for the audience size. Can't do this for the audience size. Oh, not at all, Jill. It didn't guilt me. I totally understood, and it wasn't just you. I got some communication that it was upsetting or whatever. So, and I totally understand. It seems counterintuitive, but in spite of the dark, and in spite of me sounding like I sound, I am feeling, basically back to normal. I took another test today. It's still positive, but it's only 4 days later. So, uh, actually, only 3 days after that first test. Um, I woke up this morning with the line of a poem in my head, not an existing poem, but I just thought, oh, that sounds like the line of a poem. So I was rolling it around in my head and thinking, what could I do with this? I spoke to a friend and neighbor who's a poet. I didn't tell her the exact line, but um, she she basically encouraged me that yeah, just that's how those things happen. So you can just so I'm trying to do something with it. And then I watched a lecture. It was very funny. I'll share it. Not now, but I'll share it in the chat tomorrow, I guess. This poet who was born in 1952. You can look it up on YouTube. It was just so funny and smart. I'm halfway through watching it. It's a lecture from 2013 on YouTube. You can find it with this information. It was called 28 Short Lectures. It's poetry. It's humorous. It's highly intelligent and original. It's just called 28 Short Lectures. It's from 2013, and the lecture was. It's not a lecture. It's a poetry reading called 28 Short Lectures. It was delivered in the Emerson Room at Harvard in September of 2013. So you can find it with all of that data. Um, I can't remember her name. I think her last name is Doefle or Roefle. I should be better at remembering names. But anyway, they're very funny. They're very short. They're very quirky, and she has a lot of insights and thoughts about creating art and creating poetry and what that process is. Um, Trying to remember why she sprang to mind just now, but one thing that she said that was really extraordinary was that um, this was something she called it like a short lecture on art, and she was saying something along the lines of not believing, "Hey, Dawn, hey, nice to see you," not being sure that there's any such thing as art, that art actually exists. Uh, I don't want to misquote her, so none of this is verbatim, but this is the basic idea that I got from what she said, that there's an impulse to create something, and that's in a way what art is, the desire to create something, and it's an eternally unfulfilled desire, because when you create something, you want to create it differently, you want to make it better. It never comes out exactly the way you thought of it. So you then go back to it, or maybe you go on to creating something else. But the art, in a sense, in what is art, the art is that impulse, that attempt, um, that desire to create something. Now, the eventual creation is simply a byproduct of that impulse. And it's a byproduct that doesn't contain any of the impulse. That painting you look at, or the poem you read, or the song you hear, does not have any of that impulse in it. In other words, you can't discern the desire to create in the thing that was created. That creation is a very different entity from the art, if you think of art as that desire to create. So it was just I thought it was such a great idea or insight by this poet, that they're really two different things. And it seems like a really liberating, a very, very liberating insight for anyone involved in anything creative. because it can kind of free you from the damaging or paralyzing or intimidating focus on the end product. It's beyond just accepting that the end product isn't going to be exactly what you want, or the end product is isn't worthy, or any of those thoughts. It, it's much more profound. It's the idea that the end product isn't even the art. How about that? The end product is not the art. If you want to do the art, just do the art. That's just struggling to create. That's just sitting down and doing that little battle. It seemed like a profound insight. It's called 28 Short Lectures. And this was sort of right in the middle. It's a short lecture on art. Each of the lectures is about a minute or two long. Um, I thought it was really brilliant. Oh, Jill, I'm so glad um, you watched the Burl Ives video. Yeah, I'm glad you agreed. It's just brilliant. Hey, Dawn. Yeah, in some sense, the process. However, I don't think that this poet was talking about process the in the sense of the act of creation. In other words, it's not the idea that the art is the materials and the manipulation of the materials and the act of creation in the sense of technique or vision, um, or creativity. It wasn't that. It's something more existential about the meaning of the word art. She was saying the art is that desire to create. The art is just the desire to create. The art is that feeling. And I know what she meant. And if there's a way to elevate that feeling, I have had that feeling many, many, many times in my life, and then had that feeling of frustration that there's a disconnect between that feeling and the work, the finished work, or the work of getting to the work. Um, but it was a very interesting insight. Maybe if you don't believe it, it's not an insight; it's just an idea or a postulate. But I thought it was very insightful or liberating. Let's say the idea that that feeling, that feeling is the art. That desire, that it's an agitation. It's an agitation. It's a restlessness, and in some sense, it's really just a. I guess it's related to that feeling that things are not as they should be. Things are not as they should be. That's part A, and part B is I'm going to make them as they should be. Things are not as they should be, and I'm going to try to fix that. And it's the trying to fix it. That's the art, or the desire to fix it. Something like that. These are meditations on art or on creativity. I wish I had the name of this poet at my fingertips, but please do search on YouTube for um, 28 short lectures. They happened in 2013 in the Emerson Room at Harvard. All I remember about the poet from looking her up is she was born in 52. She lives in Vermont, and she was born in Pennsylvania, moved around the world, military family. Um, yes, Dawn, you get it, and I think that yeah, anyone who struggles with or whatever creativity, there's a car moving down the dirt road in the woods. I don't know if you can see that, but um, all right. So that was very entertaining. 28 short lectures. Thank you so much for looking that up, Jill Lewis. 28 short lectures. Mary Ruffle, Ruefle. Mary Ruffle, or I don't know how she pronounces it, Ruffle or Ruffle. The Woodbury Poetry Room. There it is. Thank you so much for finding that. That's really helpful. It was just brilliant. She's incredibly charismatic and just a compelling writer slash speaker. Wow, and thinker. There was an old lady who swallowed a fly. I don't know why she swallowed that fly. Perhaps she'll die. There was an old lady who swallowed a spider, who wriggled and jiggled and tiggled inside her. She swallowed the spider to catch the fly. I don't know why she swallowed the fly. Perhaps she'll die. I can't help hearing the voice of Johnny Cash in that I diphthong vowel. I don't know why she swallowed the fly. Something about the way Johnny Cash would sing I don't know, I'm not doing it, but it's in my ear. Perhaps she'll die. There was an old lady who swallowed a bird. How absurd to swallow a bird. She swallowed the bird to catch the spider that wriggled and jiggled and tiggled inside her. She swallowed the spider to catch the fly. I don't know why she swallowed that fly. Perhaps she'll die. Just a little residual cough. I was thinking about that song also today. That it's not a vegan. We know that about this woman. Not a vegan. Now she might have swallowed the fly accidentally. So you could be a vegan and accidentally swallow a fly. But beyond that, in that list of increasingly large animals being swallowed, it's really hard to imagine how a vegan or vegetarian would do that. I think you'd just go to the ER. Spider. Also, if you swallowed a spider, I think it would pretty quickly it would stop its wriggling, jiggling, and tickling uh, due to the digestive enzymes. So I guess it's not realistic. I guess what I'm saying is it's a fantastical song, which I guess goes without saying. So I retract my last minute of talking, if retractions are allowed on this show. And I'm going to say they are. It's my show, and I get to make the rules. What have I discovered in doing a show in the dark here tonight? By the way, thank you for watching. I'm Ethan. This is the nosho. Thank you for listening mostly. Thank you for your ears. I'm Ethan. This is the nosho, which happens every night, usually at 9, tonight at 10. What have I learned? Well, maybe I just really wanted to be doing a radio show where there is no camera. That could be. I don't know. Or the other thing I've learned is that let's think about Mary Ruffle or Ruffle and what she said about art. And if I can think of this as a creative pursuit, which I think it is, it might not rise to the level of art, but let's say it's a younger cousin of art. Um, there's a desire to create something, and there's the creation, and the thing that is created. And the thing that is created is not the same as the desire, and the desire fluctuates. So sometimes I want to be on camera, and sometimes I think maybe I'll just enjoy doing it like this, and I don't have to cement it or decide how it's going to be. But this is just another item on the no-show menu. You never give me your money. You only give me your silly faces. And in the heat of negotiation, I read down. Doodaloo. I didn't remember the lyrics in the right order. Hey, Gornamots, what are you doing? Hi, buddy. Oh, he brought me his ball in the dark. Oh, that reminds me of an idea. Um, this is going back 20 years. My ex girlfriend and I had an idea for a game, which was uh, which was night tennis. Which obviously people have played tennis at night for a long time since the advent of the light bulb. Um, but this was an idea for tennis equipment that was all like glow in the dark. So the tennis balls and the nets and the lines on the court and the outlines of the racket. I think that would be it. The balls, the outlines of the balls, the rackets, the net, um, and the lines would all be glow in the dark. So that's how you would play. It just sounds like such a cool idea. Would it work? I don't know. I still think it's worth a try. I think that was a great idea. Night tennis. Oh, Gornamont's brought me a squeaky ball. That's interesting. Fetch in the dark. It's like night tennis. I don't know how he knows where the ball is. Like magic. Um, all right. Well, I hope people are having a good weekend. It's good here. It's beautiful early fall weather. We're blessed to be in a place where there's peace, and in spite of all the strife here and all the venom in our political discourse, uh, the insane venom obviously coming from one direction. I'm not trying to both sides anything. I would never do that. I just didn't feel like naming the villains yet again. But I was talking to a friend this morning about, you know, given how many people these days are living under natural disasters, man-made disasters, war, starvation, threat of starvation, climate catastrophe. How many millions and millions and millions of people are in those situations? Um, it's unfathomable, and it's happening as we speak. So if you're lucky not to be in one of those situations, I'm not preaching here. I'm preaching to myself that gotta take a few moments to appreciate that every day, to cultivate an attitude of gratitude, as someone may or may not once have said. So I'm grateful for the peace. I'm grateful for the chance to talk to you all. I'm grateful for this show, and I'm grateful. It sounds like Thanksgiving dinner. I'm grateful for my the dogs in my life and the people in my life. I'm grateful for this this country, this democracy, even though it's on some wobbly legs at the moment, and the tides are coming in. But hopefully, we withstand this assault, and so we don't descend into that kind of chaos. But I know that there's a lot of people in this country and in other countries who are suffering from the chaos in all kinds of ways. So I wish everybody peace, and if not total peace, then a more peaceful, let's put it that way, a more peaceful tomorrow than today. A more peaceful tomorrow than today, or more moments of peace tomorrow than you had today. Okay, everybody. Wishing you well, and I'll see you tomorrow night at the regular time. Thanks.